this first song is a setting, and please feel free to come up and get more drinks as I play. It's just 3 songs, so you know it's not going to be a long evening. And yeah, so this is a song I wrote in high school while I was taking harp lessons. And my lovely mother, whose birthday is this weekend, happy birthday, Mom! When she first gave me this collection of Stevens, she showed me her college edition of it. So the edition that I love is this like old blue-bound edition that's harmonium and then a set of prose and a set of letters. And that was the Palm at the End of the Mind, I think, was that edition. And it had all her annotations of it from when she studied it in college. And so she really walked me through the metaphors and this idea of the emperor of ice cream is the emperor of things that melt. So the only way to have dominion over this lifetime is to accept the fact that there's no way to have dominion in this lifetime. Right, and plus it tastes good, exactly. So it's something superfluous and sugary and not really good for you. And I thought it was a really cool song, a really cool poem, and so my harp teacher at the time helped me compose this setting. And we'll just check that it's still in tune. Okay. Let's sway a little bit. I also have to give some more credit to my mother for the fact that the reason I play the harp in the first place is because I was in a 10th grade production of Carousel and saw one in the pit. This is the first time I'd ever seen a harp live. And I came home and I was like, Mom, I have to play the harp. And she was like, okay, I'll figure that out. So within the week, there was a rented harp in our living room. And a teacher that had been set up. I know, right? You made it look easy, but it wasn't. And I didn't practice nearly as much as I should.
If you want a daughter that says, I want to play the harp.
Point taken. And she fed me.
Some harp. And it says about the harp, it's just a piano on its side. And then teaches yourself how to play the harp.
I mean, I had lessons, but I didn't. I didn't stick with the lessons. But anyway, this is the Emperor of Ice Cream. Cups, concupiscence. a completely different imagination of approach to setting text. I used a lot of improvisatory methods, inspired by my colleague Patrice, who's an expert in those things. And it's really the first time that I use improvisatory methods in my songwriting all the time. And over quarantine was the first time I realized I should apply that to my compositional approach as well. So I attempted to do as much, and here's the result. This is a song, the poem is the Anecdote of the Jar, which in the program notes it says I've had this memorized for longer. I don't remember not knowing this poem by heart. I don't know why I always loved it so much. I think maybe when I first had that book, it was one of the only poems in that collection that was just like one little page. A lot of his poetry is very, very long. And so it was simple, and it didn't have a lot of words that I had to look up in the dictionary. And this poem has inspired several different compositions over my career. When I was studying composition in undergrad, I wrote a woodwind quartet called The Postcard to, I forget what I called it. It referenced this poem somehow. Because there was another Wallace Stevens poem called The Postcard from the Volcano. And so I used that poem in this poem to combine to write for woodwinds. Right, so Anecdote of the Jar. The theme of this poem is the juxtaposition of sort of like a Baroquean ideal of like man's dominion over nature. And so the context is the speaker of this poem puts a jar, a glass jar down on the ground, and just sort of notices how wild everything looks in comparison, even more so with that jar in the way. Even though like it's made out of glass and you can see right through it, and glass occurs in nature. Yeah, I know. There we go. I posted this on Facebook a couple of months ago, and then I made this arrangement with I went through in Audacity and took out all the melody lines, so now it's a backing track that you can sing. I placed a jar. I placed a jar in Tennessee. I placed a jar in Tennessee, and round it was, and round. Round it was upon a hill. It took dominion everywhere. It took dominion everywhere. The jar was gray and bare. It did not give. It did not give a bird or bush. It did not give a bird or bush like nothing else, like nothing else, like nothing else in Tennessee. Will be featuring the wonderful Jake Walsh on oboe. And here's your stand.
Thank you. Running time.
Oh yeah. So this poem is called "The Plot Against the Giant," and Stevens, when he was in college, his nickname was the Giant. He was very interested in spending time with young women, and he acquired this nickname because of his very large stature. He was always very tall and like 230, 240 pounds, and in researching this, I didn't realize this until after we already started working on the music. But there are a few words that I actually didn't put into this poem. So if you can go online and find all this poetry, of course, because it's in public domain. And the poem is in 3 stanzas, and they're titled in italics: first girl, second girl, third girl. And I left out those little words, although I have like the Roman numerals in the score. So basically, the idea is that these 3 girls have 3 different ideas of how to take this giant down. And the first 2 are traditional methods of aggression and what you would expect from a plot against a giant. And the third one is a plot of tenderness. And it reminds me of that fable where the wind and the sun are in a competition to get someone to take off their jacket. And the wind blows and blows and blows, and the man pulls his coat around him more tightly. But when the sun shines, he takes his coat off. And this piece is envisioned for solo voice and instrument. It can be any instrument you pick. I picked oboe because I knew there were 2 oboists in my life, and that was a pretty good shot that I'd be able to get one or both of them. But I am in the process of rearranging it for colleagues on tuba and all other instruments that are interested. I think it would be an interesting thing to try to do this for 2 voices. I think that could work too. So my idea with this piece is to have it be as malleable as possible so that you can take it anywhere, especially during COVID. I can't be the reason that a bunch of people are inside, right? And I don't want to sing inside. It's not yet. It's just not safe yet. Now when I have this lovely porch and most of my houseplants are outside, so I can be too. Okay, let's do it. Oh yeah. Do that, Jim?
Margarita helped.
Yes, it does.
So it always does.
Okay. And thank you to all of you who are watching online. Okay, the plot against the giant. Yeah, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. I really appreciate it. Oh, I wonder if we could do just one thing. My mom's name is Nadine. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nadine. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mom. Thanks for coming, everybody.
All the little, like, things that you did, like at the house and,
Yeah, that was a collaborative effort.
we had to learn.
I'm gonna grab some books in case you guys want to read them.
And also,
I know, it's almost like I'm a giant. It's almost like there's a plot against me.
This is my favorite collection of Wallace Stevens. You'll often see me with this book. Please feel free to take a look through if you'd like.
Wow.
My favorite collection, or my favorite critic of his is Helen Bendler. She teaches at Yale. And she's got a book called Words Chosen Out of Desire. That was about
you
his
lost your
poetry.
Right. But you studied her in high school.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Wallace Stevens like, for my whole life. Right, we've established that. Thanks to you, Mom.
I know. I'm going to send that to Cindy because
You know, what?
she won't remember anyway.
Well, if she was doing it right. Have a great evening.